Hello learners, I am Mr. Shashikant B. Gosavi, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Walchand Institute of Technology Solapur, bringing in front of you an online educational resource on India's economic growth and development. The learning outcomes of this online educational resource are: at the end of the session, students will be able to explain economic policies of India for growth and development, explain India's economic growth and development, and compare relative growth and development of India. You can see to this magical figure which shows a lot of complicated terminologies relevant to the economic policy, which is actually one of the most important criteria with which development of the nation is normally measured. Government systems are for setting levels of taxation, government budgets, the money supply, interest rates, as well as labor market, national ownership, and other areas of government interventions into the economy. You can see the economic policy is normally woven around the currencies, particularly starting with the cash rate, interest rate, the economic activity, and most importantly, the inflation at the end. We cannot ignore interdependence of each of them on each other. The economic development in India primarily was socialist, which was inspired by politicians during the independence era. State ownership was there for many sectors. However, since the mid-80s, India has slowly opened up its market through the economic liberalization. The reforms were almost compelled on us in 1991 in order to ensure that we will regroup and advance in a better economic manner. It was again renewed in the 2000s. India has progressed towards free market economy. But still then, we find a blend of market-driven economy as well as the government-driven economy woven together. We have to go into the roots of economic reforms. One can easily see from this particular slide that economic reforms are meant and what was the need of that. The meaning is setting up policies or rules and regulations to achieve economic growth. While on the other side, why the reforms were needed is because of poor performance of public sector. Particularly in the mid-80s and 90s, we suffered a lot of problems because of the public sector failures. There were also adverse balance of payment conditions. The cash which was available in the market and cash which was available into the bank was not having proper balance. There was a fall in foreign currency reserves, because of which we were handicapped in purchasing imported goods, particularly such as oil deposits and so on. Huge debts were on the government, and there was inflationary pressure not only on the government but on the common man as well. The terms and conditions of World Bank and International Monetary Fund were also pushing us to change our economic policies. So from 1991, new economic policy started coming into implementation. The primarily two motives were there. First, of course, was that of the stabilization, and second was structural reform measures which were supposed to be taken in order to change the scenario into the economic conditions. Correcting adverse balance of payment was topmost criteria, and tackling with the inflation was also priority of the government. While in the structural reform, there were efficiency improvement measures and there was redefining the trade restrictions that was imposed onto the majority of the industries. In late 2000s, India's growth reached 7.5%. India is the fifth largest economy in the world by nominal basis and the third largest by purchasing power parity adjusted exchange rates. On per capita basis, it is 140th in the world or 129th by purchase power parity. You can easily see what were the economic developments in India. It was primarily aimed for increase in productivity, increase in flow of goods and services in economy, consumption rises, size of the market increased because of the consumption, and it resulted into inducement to invest from firms. After all, it was supposed to have economic growth and development. Remember very well, from top to bottom, all the things, all the contents are interwoven with downward flowing arrows. There were some concerns in the development of India. Although the rate of poverty declined after economic reforms of 1991, the improvement in human development has been less than satisfactory. The child malnutrition is still a major area in which India has to do a lot. The priority sectors in India consisted of public sector reforms, infrastructural development, agricultural developments, and rural development. Removal of labor regulations, reforms in lagging states, and fighting against HIV/AIDS or other pandemics are also concerns while going into this particular process. In 2018, India ranked 77th in Ease of Doing Business Index. According to Index of Economic Freedom, World Ranking, an annual survey on economic freedom of the nations, India ranked 123rd in 2014. To our surprise, it was better than China as well as better than Russia. The consideration that are supposed to be taken were India's GDP growth during January to March of 2015, which was at 7.5%. Compared to China, it was better. During 14-15, India's GDP growth recovered marginally to 7.3% from 6.9% in previous fiscal year. Indian economy grew at 7.6 and 7.1 in financial year 2015-16 and 2016-17 respectively. As of 2022, foreign exchange reserves in India reached $634 billion mark. India has recorded strong economic growth over the past 4 decades. Real per capita income have increased fourfold. India's share of global output has doubled to 7%. The world's third largest economy is India, about which we all feel proud. Learners, here you are requested to take a pause and answer this reflection quiz. The question is, what kind of economic structure is adopted in India? The options available are government controlled, open market, mixed, that is government controlled and open market, and none of these. You can think and give the correct answer. Let disclose the answer. The mixture of government controlled and the private is the correct answer. The references that I used while preparing this particular presentation consist of the book of The Making of Economic Policy, MIT Press, by author Dikshit A.K. Then Planning Commission reports of 11th 5-year plan and 12th 5-year plan, and another book by Prakash B.A., The Indian Economy since 1991 Economic Reforms and its Performance. You can also visit to the website of Economic Developments in India mentioned herein. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.